Hello, this is Uber here, and let's briefly talk about my next build. So, and also how Vaal Temple farming has been going. I've only cleared, I think, less than 80 Vaal Temples, and I've already made like, I think 30 divs. It's like 30 divs or more, I think. Um, wait, it's more than that actually. It's probably like 50 divs. Altogether, if I sell everything off, I think it's about 50 divs. So, uh, yeah, Vaal Temples are extremely profitable. Holy shit! I never really thought about it, but having done like a whole bunch of them, so I had like 20. Let me see, what's the total count I have here? 20 and 30. Yeah, about 50. I did about 50 Vaal Temples. Sorry, not 80. I did 50 Vaal Temples, and so far it's been like 50 divs. So it's almost on average like I think about slightly under a div per Vaal Temple, which is insane because you do each Vaal Temple is probably about 5 minutes, right? Depending on layout, but mostly 5 minutes, and uh, means you do about 10 an hour, which means you're getting almost like 6 or 7 divs every bloody hour, which is insane. I'd say this is like one of the most profitable strategies I've ever seen. It's not reliable per se, so you need a huge quantity of Vaal Temples to make this worth it. You need like maybe like start with 200 or 300 Vaal Temples stored up, and then you just run them over and over again. And then your Atlas passive is pretty much just spec for Vaal Temples. So most of your profit is gonna come from unique drops, double corruptions, and single corruptions. Single corruptions are interesting because there are some single corruptions that are worth quite a bit, even though I mean, technically speaking, they shouldn't be. So I'll give you an example of one. I found this thing and it's 15 divs, right? The points prison with an extra arrow is 15. It's 15 divs. I'm not kidding. It's that expensive. And then this like helms like your will clasp. That's like 3 divs or something on average. And I got a couple of jewels as well, unique jewels that were like 3 or 4 divs each. That's why a lot of the profits coming mainly from these uniques. If I didn't get these uniques, I think it would be break even or close to slightly over break even. But the these one-off unique drops that are like it's just like it's like pulling a slot machine. That's what my friend and I was saying when we were doing the strategy. It's like every time you open a chest, you're pulling a slot machine, and it's fun because when it drops big money, it's extremely exciting, right? You're gonna sit there and like, ooh, I made quite a bit of money in that one map. We're talking about, let's say, just generic, like what helps you to break even if you don't find any big drops. Not really break even, you still profit, but what helps you profit even if you don't find any big drops, and it would be this elder. So this thing called Price of Protection is Elder Guardian occupied map. Each of them go for about 15 chaos, I think. Right, you can run them yourself and get Watcher's Eyes if you want, but these are 15. These are like 15 chaos for each map. So each card is like 3 chaos, and on average you get about 9 chaos per card. 9 chaos worth. So 3 cards, 1 to 3. So about 2. So 2 cards per map. So about 6 chaos comes just from this Price of Protection, right? And if you're going for elders, I'm not sure if it counts like that. That's how it drops, but I think they drop from Rogue Exiles, and that's the reason why it drops so often. Or it comes from the Vaal bosses. I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's quite consistent, right? And then, if you have, I think, elders. So I think elders orders are much better for Vaal Temples because of the ability to give you a large amount of quantity, rarity, as well as duplicate card drops. So a duplicate card and duplicate currency drops. So I'm pretty much going to stick with this and not move to Ether, even though Ether gives better base bubblegum currency. So a lot of it's actually coming from cards like these, and a lot of it's coming from maps, because I'll give an example, right? I've spec'd for map duplication. I'm pretty sure Pulstron advised for this as well, and I didn't think it's strong until I tried it. So duplicate drops. So you basically trying to get as much of the same kind of map as possible. So in this case, I have favorited, I think, Defiant Cathedral, Cemetery, and Coves. Alright, so these 3 are the maps I have been looting. Unfortunately, I picked Tropical Islands early. They don't sell. I overestimated Tropical Islands, which it's fine, but a bit unfortunate. But And I did Crimson Temples as well. But the ones that sell the fastest are Coves. You can see I've got very few of them, even though I've been allocating them. And I think default Cathedral, I think, sold out earlier, and that's the reason why. But you can sell each of them for about 4 chaos. Same with Coves. Cemetery, I think it's 5. Yeah, Cemetery, I think it's 5 chaos. So that's generally how you're also getting a lot of currency, because when you have duplicate map drops from Eldritch Altars, you're going to be dropping a lot of these maps. Alright, and then you can sell them bulk in TFT, etc. So you pretty much already make a profit on all these things, and then the uniques that drop that have insane implicits, you're gonna make insane amount of money. So I would say, on average, my RNG might be too good, but it's 7 to 8 divines an hour from just continuous play. It's probably one of the most profitable strategies I've actually played in like recent leagues. Not even like, not even this league. It's recent leagues. It's that strong. It's ridiculous. I expect Vaal Temples to eventually go up in price in the market. Right, people are underpricing them at the moment. There is some price fixing, so I think generally you pay for 10C per Vaal Temple, but I see a lot of people price fixing at 5. So that's why a lot of newer players are selling at 5 in bulk. Don't sell at 5, sell at 10. Just saying. Maybe it's worth more than 10, I'm not too sure. Okay, so one of the main few key components of this is that you're getting a lot of small nodes because you're doing Wandering Path, so 100% increase of small nodes. This helps you get, strong box nodes, so like quantity of items in strong boxes, and chance to open your strong box again. This is insane. You can have that proc multiple times in a row. Maximum I've seen is 6 times in a row, which is insane. So you're like popping the same strong box over and over again. It's pretty cool. And then I have picked Delirium here because I kind of like Delirium with the synergy on the strong boxes, because strong boxes get so many mobs. You're going to get minimum 5 rewards every single time. But at the same time, I'm not too sure. There might be a better strategy. For now, I'm just sticking with Delirium. I've spec'd out master missions because I don't think they're very helpful. What else is there? I'm doing Growing Hordes because I just want to get as much Scarabs usage as possible just for the challenge. But I don't think it's needed. Okay, singular focus is important because you're going to get so much loot in every single map, you're going to run out of space. So on average, I take like 2 to 3 portals just to get items into my stash, right? So singular focus basically allows you to never pick up any map you haven't allocated. So any map you haven't favorited, you don't have to deal with it. That's great because then it drops its currency. So I think I've gotten a divine from this, and just chaos and other assaulted currency like awakened sextants. So this I think is super worth it, just because of the lack of stash space or inventory space. So yeah, singular focus is amazing. And yeah, that pretty much the rest of it are just small passives, right? So Delirium, this one I don't really like Essence, but there's no good ones here. I don't want to do Harvest at all. Actually, the tier 3 plant one are pretty nice. But just I don't like Harvest. I actually, come to think of it, if you can get 20% increased chance of tier 3s and increase Harvest, it might be worthwhile to actually do Harvest, come to think of it. But never mind, I'll experiment in that later. But right now I have Essence as a bridging node for the middle just to get Quan and rarity. Yeah, Eldritch Altars and Delirium. I'm probably like, let me just spec out Delirium. Oh, Rogue Exiles have a 10% chance to drop an additional currency item. Is super good because you're going to have, I think, I'm not sure if it affects the Rogue Exiles when you're strong boxes, but I assume it does. These ones don't affect the Rogue Exiles when you're strong boxes, so I've allocated these ones. And then of course Twist of Fate, because that helps you to just randomize the map for your what's the term for it? For your Vaal Temples. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Let me talk about the next build. Alright, next build is going to be pretty interesting. So I've got most of the items already. It's just a matter of figuring out certain things and getting some remaining items. So I'm going to do an Ignite build that uses Light Poacher to scale, basically fists extra damage of each element. So if I have like 17 charges, or which is I assume will be the case because I will have 17 Abyss Jewels. It'll be like 6 from here, 2 from here, so that's 8. 8 plus 2, that's 10. 10 plus 2, that's 12. And then from my passive tree, assuming that I'll have like 5 extra sockets, it's a pretty reasonable assumptions, especially if I'm going double clusters. So I'm gonna have 17 joules, and 17 joules will mean 85% of physical as extra damage of each element. So you multiply by 3 because they're the 3 different elements. That is going to be 255% increased damage, so 255% more damage, essentially, with this setup. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a fizz spell, and I'm going to use Asina's gloves, and basically explode, right? I'm just going to run around and explode, and then do self-ignite. So how am I dealing with the self-ignite? Okay, self-ignite, normally you deal with it and the boots unaffected by ignite, but in this case, I have a strategy I think will work. I will make sure the ignite duration I apply to mobs, or rather to myself, is the same as the leech duration. So the leech duration is about 5 seconds, right? So if I can well, I'm not sure if that works, but anyway, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to use Black Flame to turn the ignite into chaos damage, right? So I'll be taking chaos damage over time from my ignites, and then I'm using Tainted Pact, and hopefully I'll be leeching life to heal me for an insane amount. So I'm going to be healing myself for the ignite damage I'm dealing to mobs, and that will probably keep me alive. So that's my plan. I'm going to scale a lot of damage, mainly off the Light Poacher. I'm going to use an explode in the form of Asanas to do physical explode, and then I'm going to use a Fulcrum and a physical spell, ideally, to basically do pretty insane damage, right? And then pro-lift that ignites by running around. So that's my plan. What else is there? Nothing much, I guess. I plan to probably do this on an occultist. That's why I have the shape of flames. But I might reconsider and do elementalist, and then use a different node from the necromancer. Ooh. But this is generally what it will look like. There will be self-chill, there'll be self-ignite, and I'll be running around, basically prolifting insane high damage ignites to the map. And then I'll just zoom around like crazy. So that's my plan. Alright. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna head off now. Peace. Bye.